Hello, this is Linda Vettrus-Nichols, evolutionaryhealer.com, and I have with me the most amazing person, Lore Earley. Welcome, Lore.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, this is so much fun. Lore, you have an amazing story of transformation, and I would just love it if you would share that with everybody.
All right, so my journey to where I am today actually started as a physical healing journey. I spent 2 years in an Alaskan Yupik Eskimo village where I learned a lot about myself and what I wanted in my business and life. So long story short, I decided I was going to heal my physical body. I was having some health issues, and I was amazed at the emotional and spiritual enlightenment that resulted because of that. And just on my journey to well-being, one thing led to another. I was unfulfilled in my psychotherapy business. I knew there was something greater for me. I came across the right coaches, the right mentors who taught me to tap into my soul level gifts. And that has brought me to doing what I do today, which is actually reading souls. I basically teach entrepreneurs their soul level gifts and also help them work through blocks that are preventing them from success due to negative past life choices, unresolved negative karma because history repeats itself, and help them clear all this so that they really know who they are at soul level and can create a business that is based on their own unique self-expression.
Very cool. All right, so we're going to be talking about that, know your soul. And
Yeah.
so what is like one quick definition about like know your soul? What does that really mean? I mean, I always talk about walk at the level of your soul, and I get people down to kind of that second chakra level.
Mm-hmm.
What's sort of your definition of know your soul? Because you work with soul maps and things too. Is that right, Laura?
Yeah, our soul is made up of unique energies. We are all different at soul level. We're like snowflakes. So when I say know your soul, I'm talking about know your soul gifts. You have an energetic purpose. You have soul specialties. You have a soul culture, which kind of dictates how you operate best in the world, just how you feel most comfortable. You have a specific way that you manifest what you want based on that soul map, which you were talking about. So when I'm talking about know your soul, it's really understanding who you are in that framework so that you can make decisions based on that framework so things flow. It's like swimming with the current versus swimming upstream.
Yeah, I love it. Great definition. All right. So follow your spirit. All right. So tell us a little bit more about like following your spirit. Because like I know you have referred to yourself as a speaker soul. So you're really good, just talking on camera. And that's not been something that I had even loved to. I'll do it now, but it isn't my love, and it works for you. And so as a speaker soul, though, to get it into writing is more difficult for you, where I just love to, get a download, just write it out, organize things for other people in writing, help them publish books or whatever it is that they need, ad copy or whatever. So tell us a little bit more about like your idea of follow your spirit.
Well, again, your spirit, your soul voice, I kind of use these words interchangeably because really it's the same thing. But your spirit is the core of your essence, and it always knows what is in your best interest. And while it might be scary to follow your spirit or your soul voice, it never really leads us astray. But we have these issues with trusting ourselves and our intuition to achieve greatness. So for me, I'm very passionate about helping people follow their spirit and understand what that voice sounds like and what actions are going to be in alignment for them, because ultimately this is the way that you create joy and abundance for yourself, is being guided by your soul voice, not the monkey mind chatter up here, which tends to be very negative and loud and caught up in the shoulds and you need to and you must have. So I'm just passionate about helping people follow follow who they truly are, their core, their essence.
I love it. Yeah, and the shoulds remind me of the 7 lies that I talk about, and I even should on myself at the point of death. So that's another story. But yeah, getting that out of there is amazingly important. Okay, so connect and listen to your soul voice. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sometimes it's really hard to know the difference between what's going on up here and what your soul is trying to tell you. And there is a significant difference, but people don't really understand how to tell the difference. So I work with them to really create a visual, if needed, on what their soul voice looks like. Because here's the thing. If you are trying to have a conversation with yourself and you know what it looks like, you also know what this crazy up here looks like sometimes, then you can really target your focus on which voice you want to listen to. So I do an activity where I help them get a visual so that they can say, you know what, I feel like something's, off balance. I'm feeling a little wonky. I need to go and sit with myself, and they can pull up this visual and just have a conversation and listen to what they have to say.
Cool. I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, and when you're at the level of your soul, it's like, you notice maybe like, I'm cold, and then because you're it's almost embodied, your body is saying, I'm cold, and your soul is saying, put on a sweater, right? Those are the two voices of the human voice and the soul, not the necessarily negative monkey mind part of it, but it's like, I'm cold, put on a sweater. I love that part. Okay, So how do you know your soul self? That's really the work that you do. You really have a cool process that you can take people through. Is that right?
Yeah, I use the Akashic Records to research souls. Basically, the Akashic Records are like a metaphor for a library that has a bunch of books, and each book represents a soul, kind of like a biography. So I have the gift of being able to tap into these records, pull out your soul book, which has your soul profile, all of your gifts and what you're good at, as well as every single decision that the soul has made from its birth until now. And that's what allows me to go back and look at some of the past life issues that are unresolved, that are really stopping my clients from stepping into their goals. So it is a process where I'm teaching my clients about themselves. Now, you will know, like if you have a meditation practice and you're spiritual in nature, you'll know a little bit about your soul self. You might be able to identify with your intuition. So there's a lot that you can do on your own that will allow you to really sit with yourself, but from a much more detailed perspective, that's where I come in, because I'm actually accessing fifth dimensional records to do that specific research for you.
Cool. And the Bible talks about the book of life. It's really, that's what you're accessing. Is that right?
Yeah. And actually, too, the Akashic Records are referenced in the Ayurvedic Vedas. Like if you study yoga, like these books that are in Sanskrit that, kind of offer guidelines to life. They're actually referenced in those. And I think it goes back to like 15,000 BC or something. I mean, I Googled it the other day and I can't remember, but it's just crazy how far the references to the Akashic Records in different words goes back in history.
Isn't that amazing? That's so cool. Okay. So confidence comes from within. So access your soul blueprint. And that's really, kind of that terminology of what it is that you do. You're looking at this whole blueprint, and then you're giving that to people, their own blueprint to follow and to start noticing where they're at maybe within their blueprint. So I'll let you explain that. You'll do a much better job.
Yeah. Confidence, it's amazing. Confidence is kind of like a side effect of doing this work. When I first learned, about my own soul profile, it really just gave me that boost of like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. And the stuff I share, nothing is really like out there. It's just a very validating process. It just clarifies and confirms because we do have a lot of interests and skills and talents, especially as entrepreneurs. So when I understood myself at this level, it just like my confidence catapulted in being able to put myself out there and share what I do. So it's like a side effect. So it's kind of like something that I'm also passionate about, helping people understand the confidence that you can gain from knowing who you are at soul level. And really this confidence comes from being able to access your soul blueprint at any time, depending on what you're going into. I mean, if you have a big speaking engagement or some kind of event where it's outside your box and you're a little bit, nervous about it, you can actually create whatever it is in alignment with your blueprint, your soul map, which assures you that you're going with your skills. So yeah, there's going to be some work to do around being human and being nervous. So you might have, the physical body, like hands might be shaking. You're still going to have that because we're human beings. But there's this inner knowing of, what, this is right up my alley and this is my zone of genius. And I can do this as long as I'm following, my soul map and really owning my strengths in whatever it is that you're doing.
Cool. And then the word visualize. So once you know all of that, then you can kind of map out in your mind, like visualize how you're going to respond, or, what's the next step you're going to take. Is that what you mean by visualize? How do you teach that and use that?
Yeah, visualization is very powerful. Like if you've ever done visualization on your ideal life and you just close your eyes and picture yourself in that place, you get this body feeling. Like for me, it manifests in my heart chakra. It just like kind of fills me with this joy. So I use the power of visualization to help people connect between that spiritual side and ground it in the physical body. Because yes, we are spiritual beings, but hey, we're here in a physical body. So that kind of bridges the two. You start to feel it and see it.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. And then, there is this body involved.
Yes.
So you did talk about the monkey mind part of the body, and it really is about like getting into that core of you. And I always say that is where the soul lives. You're out. I say the pain body's on the left, the ego's on the right, and the soul's like right in the middle. And it keeps the pain body and the ego from getting in cahoots with each other, because the ego loves to set off the pain body and drop into this drama story and get into the monkey mind for you, right? So what do you, how do you help your clients to get their body on board?
I use, and I recommend that my clients use, a tapping or EFT, emotional freedom technique, because what it does is it really works with the body. And if we have fear around doing something out of our element, then your body's going to respond, whether it's nervousness, shaky hands, beating heart. Your body is triggered. I mean, we have that fight, flight, or freeze response for a very good reason. I mean, we don't want to, stay away from it or get rid of it, because it's really a life-saving mechanism. But when we're going to do a workshop for the first time or write that book, your body is going to have a response. And by using the tapping, you can calm your body. You can train that amygdala to say, hey, I'm not going to bleed to death if I do this workshop. So let's calm down. Let's kind of reframe our thoughts a little bit so that our body is kind of on board with what we're doing.
Yeah, EFT uses absurd therapy, and my exposure to that was in a suicide prevention presentation. And the guy next to me was a psychologist, and he said, I've never lost a client to suicide. I'm like, okay, why is that? Because I just tell them they can't commit suicide till they dance naked on Casey's bar. And I'm like, okay, you're weird, Then I started thinking about that. I was like, man, that's absurd therapy. I use that even with my kids, it's like, and they fall, they don't like get hurt all that bad. And it's like, oh my gosh, your arm's broken. And then they start laughing or whatever, So I had a great experience with that with a little girl who was definitely afraid of dogs, even my dog who she loved, you know, and I just said, oh, watch out, he's gonna, you know, he's gonna bite you, he's gonna eat you up, and she starts laughing. She goes, no, he's not, you know, and then that was it. And then her graduation day was this great big dog came to her about her head level, and I said, oh no, he's gonna bite you, and the lady goes, oh no, honey, he won't bite you. So when I said he'll bite you, she starts laughing. When the lady says, oh no, he won't bite you, and gets all serious, she goes into fear. And I said, yes, he will. And I'm telling the other lady, like, shh, quiet, you know, and she'd shut up. And the kid was laughing her head off. And then the dog started to lick her hand. I said, look out, your whole arm's going inside. Oh my gosh, he's eating you up. And she's laughing hysterically. And she totally got over her fear of dogs through absurd therapy.
Yeah, you can, I mean, humor can play a big role in it. EFT starts more with like the Chinese meridians on the body. Like it's kind of like on that premise of acupuncture to relieve the chi. But I do use a lot of humor. Like once I've you know, done the tapping, and it's basically tapping on points around your face and upper body. Once I've gotten past the part where my body's like intense and it calms down, I often use a lot of humor to reframe my thoughts. Like, you know, what are you thinking? What are you afraid is going to happen? Like you're going to go up there and, you know, give a presentation and like your arm's going to fall off or something. So, you know, that works really well when you are reframing how you're thinking about, you know, whatever's coming up, the stories, that this tragic story that you might be creating that is not even true and most likely won't even happen in the first place.
Exactly. And you do that like after the fact. And what I was referring to is EFT is like you talk about all the kind of like you're tapping through the negatives as if they're real, and then you're tapping through the flip of it as if it's real. And so that's what reminded me of the absurd therapy, is because it is flipped around. Not that there's humor or something, but how it's the negative, you tap through that, and then you tap through the new story, right?
Yeah.
I love it. And I love what you said that you do in your, basically your noticing skills. So after you've done all the EFT part of things, then when you like kind of get off balance and notice, then you just bring yourself back through absurd therapy, right?
Yes.
It's cool. I love it. Good. Okay. So life is short.
Yes.
There's our slides on the rocks. So I'm not sure. Do you remember what that word even is?
Which word? The
L word.
Oh, live it. Yes, live it.
Okay, so life is short, so live it. And avoid the shoulds. We already talked about the shoulds. And then understand fear. We've been talking about fear, and EFT is great for fear. So tell us a little bit more about life is short.
Yeah, you know, life is short to be caught up in making choices around other people's expectations or what you feel like you should be doing. Ultimately, we've had a lot of physical incarnation experiences. However, you know, we don't necessarily remember them. And to be in a body is really, truly a privilege. I mean, I know amongst like the spiritual community, a lot of people talk about transcending and, you know, wanting to go back in the spiritual realm. But here's the thing, you know, we spend a lot of time in the spiritual realm as a soul. That's where we go after we leave the body. And to be in a physical body, to experience things and learn new things, that I think is such a privilege. And if you're living life and you're unfulfilled because it's not your life that you're living, I feel like it's such an injustice because life is short. We're only here for a short amount of time. So, you know, follow what your spirit is saying. Do what calls to you. Don't worry about what other people think or want you to do. And understand your fear, because it is going to get in the way. It's part of the human experience. But if you understand it and you're aware of what's happening, then you have the tools to use to say, you know what, I get it. I hear you. Thank you for warning me, but I'm not going to let you stand in my way of, you know, doing what I truly am called to do.
Yeah, I love it. It's beautiful. Okay, and you have an amazing free gift for everybody too. Discover Your Gifts. It's a 3-part video series. So definitely go out to Lore's website. So it's the www and her name, Lore Earley, and it is an EY at the end, .com. And Lore has an E at the end too. So there's 2 E's in the center of that thing.
I know it's confusing. People want to change the first E to an I, and then spell check like takes out the last name, and then people are like, I can't find you. I'm like, yeah, spell check.
Find you. All right. Well, you can now. So Discover Your Gifts 3-part video series. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Basically, it's just 3 different videos, and I talk about what you can learn about yourself in your soul profile. It just goes into detail, more into like the gifts, times of history. So if this work intrigues you and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, what can I learn about myself through the Akashic Records? These videos are a great way to check it out and learn more. I also talk about like how this helps in business. I talk about why working on just your mindset isn't enough. I mean, mindset matters. It's hugely important. But when you're trying to accomplish a goal, there's so many other things too to consider that might be standing in your way. So I really just give a deeper explanation into all these things in the video. It's completely free. They're just informational for people to learn more.
Wonderful. I love it. And the work that I do is we get down to, my husband and I, we get down to that active block that's like kind of driving lots of behaviors. So, you know, the work that you and I do is just so beautifully melded together as well. So thank you so much for your gift and your explanation. And I love what you teach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure, as always, talking to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.